Have you ever noticed that the things you fear losing often become the very things that control your life? A reputation carefully built, a relationship desperately protected, a growing bank account, or the approval of strangers can quietly transform into invisible chains. You wake each morning believing you are making choices freely, yet your emotions are already owned by whatever you cannot bear to lose. That silent dependence is where freedom begins to disappear. The Stoics discovered this painful truth more than 2,000 years ago. They understood that suffering rarely comes from the world itself, but from the attachments we wrap around it. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while reminding himself daily that everything outside his character could vanish without warning. His strength did not come from possessing more than others. It came from needing less than others believed necessary for happiness. Most people spend years trying to control circumstances that were never theirs to command. They chase certainty in an uncertain world, permanence in temporary things, and validation from minds that constantly change. Every disappointment feels like a personal attack because their peace depends upon outcomes beyond their reach. The Stoics refused this bargain. They chose mastery over themselves instead of ownership over the unpredictable. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every day without realizing it. At first the weight feels normal because you have lived with it for so long. Only when someone removes it do you discover how exhausting your journey truly was. Attachments work in exactly the same way. They convince you that anxiety is responsibility, that obsession is love, and that constant worry is the price of success. None of those beliefs are true. Epictetus, who began life as a slave, taught that freedom belongs only to those who understand what cannot be taken away. Wealth disappears, beauty fades, power changes hands. Even the people closest to us follow paths we cannot completely direct. Yet our judgment, integrity, and response remain our own unless we willingly surrender them. This insight transformed a man in chains into one of history's greatest teachers of liberty. Think carefully about the last time someone criticized you. Did their words truly wound your character, or did they disturb an image you desperately wanted to protect? The pain usually comes from attachment to reputation rather than from truth itself. A person who knows their values does not collapse under opinion. They examine criticism calmly, accept whatever is useful, discard the rest, and continue walking without bitterness. This is why the Stoics warned against becoming addicted to praise. The moment applause becomes necessary, your peace belongs to the crowd. Today they celebrate you. Tomorrow they ignore you. The same voices that lift you can abandon you without explanation. Building your confidence upon public approval is like constructing a house upon moving sand. Stability never arrives because the foundation constantly shifts beneath your feet. Real confidence grows differently. It is built through promises kept in private, difficult habits repeated consistently, and quiet victories that no audience ever witnesses. Marcus Aurelius filled his journal not with achievements meant for admiration, but with reminders to govern himself wisely. His greatest battles were fought inside his own mind, long before they appeared in the affairs of an empire. Another attachment hides behind ambition itself. There is nothing wrong with pursuing success, building wealth, or creating meaningful work. The danger begins when your identity becomes inseparable from the outcome. Then every failure feels like proof that you are worthless. Every setback becomes a verdict against your existence. The Stoic mind separates effort from result. It controls one completely while accepting the uncertainty of the other. Nature offers a powerful lesson. A tree does not demand perfect weather before extending its roots deeper into the earth. Storms bend its branches, harsh winters strip away its leaves, and scorching summers test its endurance. Yet every season strengthens what lies beneath the surface. Human beings often expect growth without discomfort, forgetting that resilience develops only where resistance exists. The Stoics called this acceptance amor fati, the love of fate. It does not mean enjoying pain for its own sake or pretending that loss feels pleasant. It means recognizing that every obstacle contains material capable of shaping a stronger character. Instead of asking why hardship appeared, they asked how wisdom could emerge from it. This single question transforms victims into builders of their own destiny. Consider how often people postpone peace until everything becomes perfect. They tell themselves they will finally relax after earning more money, finding the ideal partner, receiving recognition, or eliminating every uncertainty. Years pass chasing conditions that constantly move farther away. Peace becomes a destination forever postponed. The Stoics reversed this thinking. Inner peace was not the reward at the end of the journey. It was the manner of walking it. One attachment remains especially difficult to release because it disguises itself as necessity. It is the need to always explain yourself. Many people waste enormous energy defending every decision, correcting every misunderstanding, and answering every accusation. Silence feels unbearable because they believe their worth depends upon being understood. The Stoics rejected this endless trial before public opinion with remarkable courage. A lion does not interrupt its path to answer the opinions of every barking animal along the road. Its attention remains fixed upon the direction that truly matters. Likewise, the Stoic learns that unnecessary explanations often strengthen conflict instead of resolving it. Character reveals itself over time through consistent action, not endless arguments. Quiet confidence frequently speaks louder than perfect words. The greatest freedom you will ever experience begins the moment you remove the attachments that have silently governed your thoughts for years. You stop chasing control over what belongs to chance and begin mastering what belongs entirely to you. The world may remain uncertain, but your foundation becomes steady. From that place, every challenge becomes an opportunity, every loss a teacher, and every day another step toward an unshakable soul. The Stoics also understood that attachment often disguises itself as love. We cling to people so tightly that we begin demanding they never change, never disappoint us, and never leave. Yet human beings are not possessions. They are travelers walking beside us for a season we cannot predict. When love becomes ownership, fear quietly replaces gratitude. Freedom returns only when we appreciate others without trying to imprison them inside our expectations. This lesson is difficult because the heart naturally fears loss. Still, Seneca advised practicing gratitude instead of entitlement. Every conversation, every shared meal, every embrace should be treated as a gift rather than a guarantee. Such thinking does not make relationships colder. It makes them richer. You become fully present because you no longer assume tomorrow has already been promised. Appreciation deepens when certainty disappears. The same principle applies to material possessions. There is nothing inherently wrong with wealth. The Stoics never argued that comfort or prosperity should be rejected. Instead, they warned against allowing possessions to possess the owner. If losing an object destroys your peace, then the object has quietly become your master. Freedom begins when you can enjoy abundance without becoming dependent upon it for your identity. History repeatedly confirms this truth. Empires collapsed, fortunes vanished, celebrated names faded into obscurity, yet the people remembered for centuries were rarely those who accumulated the most. They were those whose character remained unshaken when circumstances changed. External success may attract admiration for a season, but inner strength commands respect across generations because it survives every reversal of fortune. There is another attachment that silently drains energy every day. It is the attachment to the past. Many people replay old mistakes until regret becomes their permanent companion. Others endlessly revisit moments of glory, refusing to accept that life has moved forward. In both cases, the mind abandons the present. The Stoics believed that reality exists only in the current moment. Everything else belongs either to memory or imagination. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that each morning offered a completely new opportunity to practice virtue. Yesterday could instruct him, but it could not imprison him. The same remains true for us. A mistake becomes valuable only when transformed into wisdom. Beyond that purpose, regret serves no noble function. Carrying it endlessly is like dragging broken tools long after the work has already been completed. Equally dangerous is attachment to the future. Endless worrying creates imaginary battles that never actually occur. The anxious mind rehearses disasters, predicts rejection, and invents failures before taking a single step. Meanwhile, life quietly unfolds in the present without receiving our full attention. The Stoics prepared for challenges, but they refused to surrender today's peace to tomorrow's uncertainty. When your attention returns to what you can control, remarkable clarity appears. You recognize that your responsibility ends with your choices, your effort, and your character. Results belong to forces much larger than yourself. This realization is not passive resignation. It is disciplined liberation. You work with complete commitment while remaining emotionally independent from whatever outcome eventually arrives. That is why silence became such a powerful Stoic practice. Not every opinion deserves a response. Not every insult requires a defense. Not every success should be announced before it matures. Seeds grow strongest beneath the soil, away from constant disturbance. Likewise, your greatest transformations often occur quietly, protected from distraction, until they become impossible to uproot. People often mistake silence for weakness because they assume strength must always be loud. The Stoics saw the opposite. The strongest person in the room was usually the one least interested in proving superiority. Confidence rooted in character has no need for constant advertisement. It moves deliberately, speaks carefully, and allows consistent actions to accomplish what endless words never could. Imagine living 1 week without chasing approval, without fearing criticism, without replaying yesterday, and without worrying about tomorrow. The world around you would remain exactly as unpredictable as before, yet your experience of it would completely change. That transformation is not created by better circumstances. It is created by removing the attachments that once dictated every emotional reaction. Freedom is rarely gained by acquiring something new. More often, it arrives through subtraction. Remove the need to impress. Remove the fear of losing status. Remove the obsession with controlling other people. Remove the habit of arguing with reality. With every attachment released, another layer of unnecessary suffering falls away, revealing a quieter, stronger, and more resilient mind beneath it. This is the enduring promise of Stoicism. It does not offer a life without pain, uncertainty, or loss. It offers something far greater. It teaches that no external event has the authority to steal your inner freedom unless you willingly surrender it. When your peace depends upon your character rather than your circumstances, you become difficult to intimidate, impossible to manipulate, and truly free.